Alright guys, what is going on today? Welcome back to the channel. In this video, I'm going over the new Boruto chapter 62. Now, before we get into this, I know I made a video on chapter 62 a month ago regarding how Boruto is going to get his eye cut. Now, if you guys read the comments, I did add some things that I forgot to add in the video at the time. Now, I did say that the cut is going to happen between chapter 62 and 65 because they got to build up the fight a bit. But looking at this chapter, it looks like we might get it next chapter or chapter 64. His eye is going to get cut because even Boruto in this chapter says that he will go to where Kawaki is and then everybody will track his chakra and they'll come to him. That means Naruto, Sasuke, whoever else there is going to come to Boruto and we might see his eye get cut next chapter. So I just want to point that out before we do anything. Now I'm going to go over a quick summarize of this chapter. It basically goes right after chapter 61 when Kawaki runs away after being under constant surveillance and he's kind of sick and tired of being watched. So what he does is he tries to leave the village. He knows he's being tracked, but he decides to leave the village to confront Code, or he's going to go find Code so that he could bargain with Code to let everybody in the village off so Code doesn't hurt them. But Code tells Kawaki that regardless of what you do, he's like, I'm still going to kill everybody. He's like, I'm going to kill at least 4 people and I'm going to annihilate the whole world, basically making a giant chakra fruit, and it's all part of Ishiki's will. So you already know Kawaki and Code are doing some next shit. And I want to talk about Naruto and Boruto. Now the thing here is that when Boruto tells Naruto that Kawaki ran away, it kind of doesn't click with Naruto as much. Naruto's like, are you playing with me and stuff like that? Now I don't know why Naruto would think that, because the way everything played out in the last like 60 chapters, I don't know why he would think Boruto's lying. But then again, his reasoning does make sense because even Naruto said that you guys were tired of the constant surveillance, so maybe him and Kawaki were planning something together to get away from the surveillance since it was hard for them to move around. So I understand that part and why some people might be iffy about Naruto's character and how he's acting a bit weird towards Boruto, saying he doesn't listen to him and stuff like that, but it's just Naruto being on the safe side. While outside the village, Code confronts Kawaki since he's running away in the forest, and Code beats the shit out of Kawaki. You can literally see the power difference between Kawaki and Code. Now Code's not even trying against this guy, but the weird thing is I don't know how Code's belts are implanted on somebody, because the way you look at these panels, you can see his belts are everywhere, but then you look on Kawaki himself and the belt ends up on his back and Code pops out and he kicks Kawaki down. So I don't know how his belts are put onto the enemy or whoever he's trying to hit against. Now regarding his belts, like I said, I think the belt is going to be the biggest factor in Boruto getting his eye cut, because if Boruto saved Kawaki at the end of this chapter, that means that Code, when fighting Boruto, will put his belt thing on Boruto and he'll probably put it somewhere around his neck or to his face and boom, slash his eye, because we do see Boruto run in and Boruto has the scratched headband on. So that means all the events are playing out to Boruto getting his eye cut. He fights against Code. Code beats the shit out of them. If Code was able to beat Kawaki with no problem, I'm pretty sure he could take Boruto as well, no issues. And Boruto can't even go low on chakra, otherwise Momoshiki's gonna appear. But then again, we don't know if the pills are really working or not, so Momoshiki may or may not appear. So it's kind of iffy to say, but I think Code could take them. And the way we're gonna go into the time skip is Boruto and Kawaki are gonna get their ass whooped pretty hard by Code. And Boruto is gonna see that he is weaker and that he cannot stand against somebody as strong as Code, so they need to go training. Now Code being an ego type of guy, you can tell, because in every previous chapter and episode, he's always like, oh, I guess I need to go do this, I need to go do that, I guess I'll go take care of this person. He's trying to show off his power that he's really strong. So what I feel is Code is going to purposely tell Boruto and Kawaki, like, if you guys really want to try fighting me, get stronger and come back to me, like, I'll show you guys what real power is. I think that's what Code is gonna do. He's gonna let them off. He's gonna hurt them though. He can't kill Boruto because he needs to feed him to the tree. He'll let off Kawaki because he's gonna give Kawaki to Ida. I think Code is gonna tell Boruto, he's like, I'll give you some time, get stronger, come at me. He's like, I'll beat the shit out of you. I'll show you what real power is. I'll take you down. I think that's what Code's gonna do, because like I said, Code is a bit egotistical. And Ida's wording saying we'll take our time to, do everything. We'll do all the steps, slowly. We won't have to rush it. I think they're slowly panning it all out. So Boruto fights Code next chapter. Naruto and Sasuke, along with all the surveillance guys, come rushing in right at the end when Boruto gets his ass beat. And Code gives him a warning by slicing his right eye. Now his right eye could be cut for 2 things. First, if Momoshiki appears, then Code knows that he can slice his right eye and Momoshiki won't be able to come out or won't be able to see, and Momoshiki won't be able to heal him because of the pills. If Ida knows everything, she knows Boruto's taking the pills and that may suppress Momoshiki. The second being that Ida somehow knows about the jougan. She may tell Code to cut his right eye because his right eye is probably the only thing that could stop them. So there's a possibility of those things happening, and we might get to see the jougan maybe in the next couple of of chapters. But like I said, I don't know if the manga is going to follow the jougan or not, because there's been a lot of changes between the anime and the manga lately. And regarding chapter 1, like I said, you can see it looks like a byakugan, it's not the jougan. And I know people say the god's eye is the jougan, as we've seen in chapter 55 when Code is talking to Ishiki. You see the black scleras all around the Otsutsuki god. Now that's chapter 55, and chapter 1, the two eyes are completely different. Now the anime follows something else, but we'll see what the eyes look like in the next couple of chapters, because we are going to see if the jougan is really the god's eyes or if they're all around him, because Ishiki's death is around the corner in the anime, and we're going to see the events fold out afterwards. Now that's why I think it's going to happen for his eye. That's how the event's going to play out. Now the other part I want to talk about here is when Code is talking to Kawaki. Now he tells Kawaki that he's like, regardless of what you do, you won't be able to save anybody. He's like, I'm going to take this whole planet, entire world, everything down. And the way he says it, he's like, unless you switch everybody to a different dimension, you'll be able to save them. Now, don't you find it weird that he's hinting it like that, saying, yo, you go to a different dimension, you'll be able to save everybody. Now this goes back to chapter 1 and episode 1 when Kawaki tells Boruto, he's like, the age of shinobi's over, because I think Kawaki joins Code in terms of helping him in exchange for something else. That's one way. The second being that Kawaki sends everybody to a different dimension. If he has a white karma, he can still use Ishiki's powers. So that means he may send them to Ishiki's dimension, which only Ishiki could get into. But then again, Code probably has all his belts, everything placed in Ishiki's dimension. If Code was able to protect the Ten Tails and watch the Ten Tails without actually using time space to get there, then most likely he has belts implanted in all of Ishiki's dimensions. So looking back at Kawaki may send Naruto somewhere in the future. That's why Kawaki tells Boruto, he's like, I'll send you where I sent the 7th Hokage, meaning he sends everybody to a different dimension. So if something breaks out, and I think Code destroys the village and all that stuff in the future after their massive fight happens, and these guys decide to send everybody to a different dimension in order to stay safe. But this is what I think on his wording. Like I said, his wording's a bit off, but this is what I'm predicting for the next couple of chapters. We're gonna see a fight break out between the 3 guys there. My boy's gonna get his eye cut. We're gonna see my boy Naruto and Sasuke pull up with everybody else on the village. Code's gonna get away and he's gonna give Boruto a warning, and another fight's gonna break out in the future. And I'm assuming time skip, because the time skip has to be around the corner, and I think the anime and manga are gonna go into a time skip at the same time. By the time the end of the year hits, we'll be around chapter 65. So I think the way we're gonna play it out is the anime is gonna catch up to the manga by that time, and both are gonna go into the time skip at the same time. Since the anime is already at chapter 51, and next week's gonna be chapter 52 and 53, and so forth, that means we're catching up pretty quick, and they're gonna end it off all at one go. And the manga's already built up to where the point is for it to be a time skip. Now the last thing I want to talk about in this chapter is Shikamaru and Amato. Now what's weird is the way Shikamaru looks at Amato, and he's questioning to himself, why did Kawaki go away? What's his motives? And you can see Amato kind of knows something. The way his eyes go ... there's a hidden meaning behind that. It might explain that Amato knows what Kawaki is doing and where he's going. He probably knows he's gonna go talk to Code, which is why in the last couple of chapters, Amato was talking to Kawaki and how Naruto will lose against Code and stuff like that. That's why Kawaki was pleading to exchange his life with everybody else when he went to go talk to Code. So Amato knows something we don't know, and Amato's still a suspect about Kawaki. Like, he's pretty worried about him. Even right now too, he's surprised he ran off, and everybody's questioning that too. Even Amato said that Kawaki's love for Naruto is intense, so I can see why Kawaki went through all these steps to help Naruto. Now this chapter was pretty sick. Oh man, we get to see Code's power. I can't wait for the next chapter. Now my only issue with Code is the fact that what's his motive? Why is Ishiki so special to him? I think they're gonna give us a backstory on this, because I don't see any reason that Code is so attached to Ishiki. There has to be a reason to it. You can't just be like, oh, this guy just helped me, like give me some food or something, or some bullshit like that as a kid, and he saved me. I don't feel like that's gonna be a good backstory. It needs to be like a Obito and Madara type story, where Obito was being used by Madara. In this case, Ishiki was using Code. Now the problem here is Code worships Ishiki. We don't know why he worships him so hard. So I feel like that might be a bit of a plot hole with any story, like why he's so attached to doing everything Ishiki says. We need some explaining on that. Otherwise, this chapter was sick. Freaking Damien, man, the way he's sleeping on Ida, that shit was jokes. But I don't know, Damien pisses me off. I look at his face, he looks so bratty to me. I just want to punch this kid, bro. I don't know why. Ah, shit. Anyways, this is what I think. Thanks for watching. Please comment, like, subscribe, and stay tuned for more videos to come.